should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof.
That building in particular had a sloped roof. What point are you making exactly? Jesus, I've heard some pathetic excuses in my lifetime, but that one went right to the top of the pyramid. Then it immediately complained because the surface wasn't flat and went into meltdown until I put it back on the ground. This woman, she is the director of the Secret Service. Take a moment to consider the ramifications of that. Her bullshit excuse falls apart after 5 seconds of cross-examination. Snipers were stationed on other roofs that were also sloped, even with steeper gradients. Should we talk about the Secret Service agents? We probably should. The people who are trained to put their lives at risk to protect the president. There should be standards. Standards are good. Standards are necessary. Standards keeps things from falling apart. If you are blind, you can't be a pilot. Sorry, that's an obvious and reasonable deal breaker. But as you all know, the ideological cancer of diversity, equality, equity, and inclusion has spread far and wide, infecting so much. Schools, the corporate world, charities.
Diversity, equity, inclusion. A topic that we've heard so much about in the last couple of years. An area that we see so much investment in. Every organization trying to drive change, trying to create a workplace that's more inclusive, a society that's more inclusive. In the US alone, last year, $8 billion was spent on diversity training.
And evidently, the Secret Service.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates.
Look at this short, podgy woman, clueless and useless, unable to even holster her firearm. She is incapable and unsuited to her job. It's not a good idea to give jobs to incompetent people, just so you can tick a diversity box. Diversity is not important. Objective standards of competence are. Did you work really hard and get the job because of your intelligence and your skills? No, I'm actually not good at the job. I can't do what I'm required to do, but I'm a certain race or sex, and I have a certain sexual preference. That doesn't make sense. Breaking news, the Secret Service agent failed to do her job, resulting in the death of the president. But that doesn't matter. The important thing is that we now have diversity in the workplace. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Diversity is strength. If you ever needed a solid, real-world example of how diversity, equity/equality, and inclusion policies are dangerous and only result in a lowering of standards which makes things worse, this Secret Service agent is your golden ticket. DEI policies are inherently discriminatory for all the wrong reasons and only result in things getting worse. Maybe this is intentional. Maybe there has to be a collapse of society in order for the new order to be created. Yes, you have great experience and knowledge and exceptional skills, but I notice that you are a white male and we are really looking to fill the position with a woman of colour, preferably a lesbian. What does that have to do with engineering? Diversity is important to us. DEI equals DIE. Stop giving your money to companies that support diversity, equity, and inclusion. Stop working for these companies. Look for other companies to join. Companies that have their priorities in order. Give woke companies the Bud Light treatment and let them go broke.
But there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the Secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
You plan to stay on, absolutely.
I do plan to stay on.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.